Alright class, this video, hopefully I don't do it as long, but it's going to be over reading the scales we discussed in class, and then you had read in chapter 1 towards the end. Well, we need scales. We met on the Tuesday class, so we went over this briefly. If you're in my Monday class for the blueprint reading class, you're probably watching this video too, and didn't discuss it as much, but we talked about it. Again, you're gonna read it in your book, or you can search it too. You can go to YouTube, or why do we need scales? Well, in a general concept, we need scales because we cannot, if we draw a building that it's 200 feet in length, of course we cannot fit 200 feet on a sheet of paper, so we need to scale it down to an actual scale so it fits on a sheet of paper. It could be on a size, and a B size, and a C size, and a D size. In the previous videos I've talked about this. So we need scales. We need to scale things down so they fit on a sheet of paper. Okay, but how to read scales? Well, this is an architectural scale. Okay, it's a good idea if you get one. I think if you're taking the one of the civil classes, you're gonna have to get the engineering scale, but for this is going to be the architectural scale, and you can see it right there, architect scale. And you have, when you see the architectural scale, same as in the engineering scale, you have a bunch of numbers here. You have a 1 there, you have a 1/4 here, you have a 3/16, you have a 16, 3/8, 1.5, and then on the other side you're going to have to see some numbers: 3/4, you flip it, you got 3/32, you have half, you got 1/8. Okay, this 3, and you got 3/4. These are the scales. Okay, what the scale is, you scale down a measurement, and it has to be scaled down on well, this is going to be redundant, but it needs to be shrunken using a scale. That way you can go back and measure if you need, and you get the distances that you need. Okay, well, let's start with this. All the measures you're going to be doing for the architectural, let me just grab a Sharpie. It's going to be, you're going to be doing feet and inches. Okay, feet and inches. Feet, if you see a number with a little line on top, and I put it like this for a number with a little line on top, that means feet. If you see a number with 2 lines on top, that's inches. Okay, so just we need to understand that. Feet and inches. You see a number with a little line, it's feet. Number, 2 lines, that's inches. Now, this we're talking about feet and inches, so we need to know, or you need to know, that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, why is it important? Well, because actually what's gonna matter when you look at scales is gonna be this number. 12 inches equals a foot, so you need to remember that 12 inches equals a foot, and I'll explain why in a bit. Okay, so make sure you understand that 12 inches equals a foot. All right, now if we go everything you measure, if you measure for example one of the doors in your house, and it might be 2 feet 8 inches, so it's 2 feet and 8 inches in length. Okay, so that's the way it's drawn: 2, 8, or if I tell you the width of the window, it's I don't know, 3/6. Well, it's 3 feet 6 inches. Okay, so later on, this is gonna be second, like you're gonna know it just by. It's gonna be normal for you, just to pick up on those numbers: feet and inches, feet and inches, feet and inches. Remember, it goes every 12 inches equals a foot. All right. Now, when you get the scale, there's one that says 16. Okay, this top one here, and it goes all the way to number 12. What does that mean? This is the full scale. This is a regular scale. Okay, this is the regular ruler that you have the one you use for in school, the one you use for making projects in school, measuring for whatever math class or science class you need it. This is a regular scale. Okay, so this one you know how to read it. This right here, it's an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and so on and so forth, until you get to 12 inches, which equals a foot. So from here, I think we can zoom the whole thing, but from here to here, that's 12 inches in real life, right? So this scale is a full scale, is a regular scale. What you get is what it is, okay? Now, so it's 12 inches equals a foot. So a foot, you're measuring a foot, it has to be from 0 all the way to 12, and that equals a foot. Okay, this is a full scale. Now, there's a 16 here, right there. The 16, it's the increments that the inch is divided on. If I were to count this, I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 all the way to 16. So that means that each one of these lines, it goes up in increments of 1/16 of an inch. So 1/16, 2/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, and so on and so forth. Okay, all the way to I get to an inch, which is gonna be, this right here is gonna be 15/16, and then 60/16, which equals a whole number. Okay, just simple math. So this is what I'm gonna do, and let's do it right here. You have something like this, and I'll put it so we can see. Let's do the inch part a little bit bigger. So you have a 0, you have a 1, okay? Now again, you know that each one of these is 1/16 of an inch. But again, we're gonna simplify. See how some of these numbers are longer than another? If you see the 0 and the 1, these numbers where they're a little bit, not numbers, the lines, they're larger or longer. And then the second longest is the one in the middle. And then the other one is gonna be these right here. That one, that one, that one, and then that one, that one, that one. So let's break it down, okay? If this is an inch, this is 0, and this is an inch right here, if I am right in the middle, and that's the second longest, well, this should be a little bit longer. Second longest, by default, or by my common sense, or my what I have studied so far, that tells me that this right here is 1/2. Right? So this is 1/2 of an inch. Now I'm going to show you to you like this so you can break it down. It will be a lot easier if you're measuring a line and it ends up, let's say right there. You don't have to count 1/16, 2/16, 4/16. You can more or less look for these longer lines to know exactly where you're at. Okay? And again, you have to simplify. In reality, this right here, if I was measuring in 16s, in increments of 16s, in reality, this here would have been 8/16. 8/16, but I'm going to simplify that to make it 1/2, and that's what you want. Okay, you don't want to get a measurement and put a dimension for a detail, and you're going to say, how long is that? I don't know, that piece of wood. Well, it's 2 and 8/16 of an inch. Well, it's not 2 and 8/16, it's 2.5. Right? So you simplify. Okay. So we're kind of right in the middle. That's 1/2. So that will be that right there. Right there. So that's 1/2 an inch. An inch is from here to here. That's 1/2. Now what? Hopefully this helps you. Now that I look at 0 to 1, I cut it in 1/2, and that gives me 1/2. If I cut in 1/2 0 to 1/2, what would that be? Well, that will be 1/4, right? Between 0 and 1/2, that's a 4th. If this is a 4th, right, this is 2/4, which equals a 1/2, right? And then, so I know that the one over here, it's 3/4. So it's a 4th, 2/4, which equals a 1/2, 3/4, 4/4, which equals a 1. Okay, I'm looking again at the full scale. We need to know what's the measurement of each one of these lines. They're 16s, but we have to know not in 16s, but in quarters, and halves, and 8s, and in 16s. Okay? So now I'm going to do the next thing. I'm going to go to 0 and 4th. I'm going to cut it in 1/2, and that it's going to give me what? 1/8. Okay? So I'm going to go in between. So this is 1/8. That means this is 2/8, which equals to a quarter. I'm going to put one here, and there's going to be 3/8. Right? 4/8, which equals a half. This right here is 5/8. Okay. 6/8, which equals 3/4. This right here, it's 7/8. And then this one right here is 8/8, which equals a 1. Okay, I'm going real slow. I need to understand. I need for you to understand how you break down on the full scale. We're not looking at any scales right now. We're not looking at the 16 and the 3/32. We're not looking at that right now. We're looking at this scale right here, the full scale. How do you break it down? Now, some of you might already know this. I'm just trying to go slow so we can, everybody's on the same page. So now I'm going to break the other ones, which are the 16ths, and the in between. What's the distance between 0 and an eighth? It's going to be 1/16. So 1/16, 2/16, it's an eighth. 3/16, 4/16, it's a quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5/16. 6/16 is 3/8. 7/16. 8/16 we already have over here, which equals a half right here. 9/16. 10/16 equals 5/8. 11/16. 12/16. That's 11. 11/16. 12/16. 13/16. 14/16. 15/16. And 16/16, which equals a whole number. So this is how you break it down. And you need to know it like this. So now you know if the line you're measuring ends up right here, don't give me, oh, that's 2/16. No, it's an eighth. I mean, it is 2/16, but you have to simplify it. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. If it ends up right here, don't tell me, oh, that's 6/16. No, tell me that's 3/8. So you need to simplify like this. So I'm going to stop it right here, look over the scale, and make sure you understand the increments. There's going to be 16 lines, which they're 16ths of an inch, but you have to break it into, for example, these are the 8s, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. But some of them, they're going to be converted into quarters, which are going to be, that's going to be your half, the quarter is going to be there, and the quarter is going to be there. So take a look at the length of those lines, and it's going to help you visually, right? So look at that, and I'll continue with another video going over the scales and how to read them.